Okay, so this is the mask for these patterns. What I did was basically in Photoshop, I had this path tool like this, and I just made a stroke path. Come on, here, yeah, stroke path with brush, and basically this is how I did it. I had a couple iterations because it was not fitting perfectly in the center, and I was not able to get perfect result still, so I managed to add just a paint layer that manually painted this thing, and I created another mask, which is this. It covers the islands. So now what I want to do is to create this creepy pattern. So first of all, I'm going to create a folder with black mask, copy this mask, copy mask, and paste into mask here, like that. So now I will hide this layer for now. Now I'll create a fill layer right there, and turn off everything except height. Put it somewhere here. Add black mask, add fill, and I will add procedurals. It is somewhere here. Messy fibers 3, like so. Okay, so now let's play with scale. I know that this is not 100% accurate result with the reference, but still I think it's quite fine. Also, I would like to add some levels to the mask so that I could adjust the borders. You can see right there that I'm doing. Okay, so I want to make those things more prominent. And actually, there are two types of patterns on this gun. This one is more hard one, this is more soft one, but to me, like, without touching the gun, it looks quite the same. So I'm not going to do two separate. Just going to do this one. And for the pattern, I want to add levels and play with it just a bit to see if I can replicate the reference so that I could have those like kind of strokes. Okay, I can duplicate this one and just rotate. Yep, so I have two layers. I created the second one because with levels applied, it has too many gaps. It's not that thick, so I just created another one and rotated it like so. So this looks quite nice, I think. I can actually edit a scale of the second one so that it could look a bit more interesting. Or no. It's 1491. Let's make it 16. Like so. Okay. So I guess it looks quite nice. Yeah, it looks clean, looks good. oh right, I also had to edit this part over here, which is, I can delete this layer now, I don't need it. Yeah, right there. You can see this happens because the UV shell, it is a bit deformed during the process of unwrapping. It's not perfectly replicating the surface from 3D, so you might have some issues right there, or like edgy look or something like that, so the result might be not perfect. So you can actually manually overpaint some parts and they will look much better. Okay, so I think we're done with all the markings. They look nice and clean. So at this point, I have this folder decals. So if I turn it off, you see nothing happens. So what I want to do now is just replace my normal map for the whole gun. And what I'm going to do is just export normal map, hit export. Okay, let's go into Photoshop. Let's hide this folder, create a new one. Let's call it normals with markings. And let's open in maps. Here we go. Here are the same normal maps, but with all the markings we already did. Let's drop it right there. And okay, I can see the difference. PBR spec glass from catch. Okay, so let's do it again. Delete this, 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 this. And for normal maps, I use OpenGL. Just drag it there and select RGB channels, like so. Now let's just, yeah, now let's export again. Right, so what I actually could do, just go to channels, select green channel and invert it, and like turn on all channels now, and if I switch on and off, you can see the difference. It's only appearing now the markings. So, but I showed you both ways. You can just re-export your normal map, or you can just flip your green channel. So, okay, this looks nice. Let's save it in the PNG file, XD normals. Let's give it some time. You can close this one. Okay, it's saved. Now let's save the whole Photoshop file. And in Substance Painter, let's just find the textures. And here it is. Click Reload. And here we have the normal map with the markings. And just let's turn off the decals there and drag this into normal maps. And here we go. Now we have all the markings. It is baked onto normal map. You can actually do some stuff with anchors in Substance. This thing allows you to do some changes on the normal maps, on the normal map, and then all the generators will be affected by them. But me personally, I like the old school way, just bake all the normal details and then you will have the proper result. So another thing I wanted to double check is markings on the metal part of the mag. Oh yeah, we got it right there. The numbers. Though we don't have it here. Okay, I guess the extended mag does not have this one. Okay, I'll just leave it like this. And right, I forgot one thing left. The holes for the mag, the fake holes right there, and this thing also here. So it's also going to be fake. So okay, so before I go into baking the rest of the maps, I'll do in the in the speed up process the rest for the mag and this hole here, and I will add a logo over here just because I can. And then right before the texturing process, I'll get back to you and bake all the rest of the maps, and I'll have some intro about texturing. So I did the fake holes on the mag, this kind of hole and logo on a magazine. Also, I redid the grip pattern right there. It was too noisy while you look from far, and I scaled up the pattern just a bit so that it was more look like on the reference and looks a bit better from distance. So before we go into baking textures, baking final textures, and going into doing materials, there are a couple things left to do. First of all, as you can see, we have all kinds of models here, the exploded one, the lock open magazine, but we don't have a comfortable way to look at the bottom part of the gun, because you cannot place sources of light in substance, and you cannot place a light surface beneath the gun. So the solution for that is go into Maya. Let's go and delete this guy over there and re-import the one that is used for substance. Let's apply material. Yeah, so the solution to this is select this guy, for example, center the pivot, duplicate it. Let's move it around there and just rotate it 90 degrees. So now we have a nice access to the bottom part of the gun, and it's quite editable and we can see that. So let's select everything now again and replace this file with FBX. And now we don't need none of that. Delete it and the folders. Let's go back into Substance. And in order to replace your model, go into Edit, Project Configuration, select, and preserve stroke positions on mesh. And here we go. This is quite dangerous operation because something can be broken while you do that, so I highly recommend you not to do this while in the middle of the material texturing. Right now at this point, when we're doing just bakes, it's fine, though I would like also double check if everything is okay. Well, it seems to be all fine, but make sure that your model is completely ready for making materials and everything is set. So there's another thing I want to do. Let's go into decals folder. Let's select one of the marking layers, duplicate it, place it on the very top, and delete paint layer, blur, leave only fill. So the thing I want to do is, let me show you on my reference board. This is a texturing reference board. I will come back to it just a bit later, but for now I just want you to show this nice example. So what I want to do now is this little seam on the frame. I could do this on the high poly stage, but it's kind of easier to control it on the baking. So what I want to do now is just to add this seam. The more you see this seam, the lower quality of the gun, like in real life, because this area should be polished and almost not seen if the product is really quality. But it gives like a bit more story to the whole asset if you just add this thing. I tend to do so because it looks better, it gives more story to the to your asset, and just in general this is kind of neat and cool effect, like right there. So in order to do that, I've created this line texture, which is basically 2 pixels wide white mask, and I already dropped it into Substance. So let's create a new material, new layer, disable everything except diffuse, turn it to red, add a black mask, and let's add a fill, UV projection, turn to tree planar projection, which means it's going to project on the model, not on the texture. And let's just try a random procedural, for example this, which is called anisotropic noise, and let's see how does it gonna work. Let's scale, rotation. So, okay, this did not give me too much. Okay, let's go with line, because the procedural texture is horizontal and my created line texture is vertical, but I think I'll be able to fix that. Yeah, so let's rotate it 90 degrees, and let's try to move the projection to find the spot where it's going to show. Yeah, here it is. So let's find this spot. 8, no, that's too much. 7, 7 and 6, still no, just 7, 71, okay, 72, no, 73, okay, 72 and 5, almost there, and 6, no, 72 and 4, almost, so, come on. $72. Shit. Come on. I've lost this. Come on. Okay. Redo. This goes 90. Here this was 72 and 6. Yeah. Let's try 3. Yes, finally. Okay, so this is a proper position for the line. And I want to have this line only on the frame, and I think on this plastic part of the mag. So let's create a folder. Let's add a black mask, and what I want to do is create a mask for this folder that will affect only frame. And this part over here, there's an easy way to do that. Click on here and select a mesh fill. This should be 1. Now just click on the frame on this part and alt click on the mask. You see it colored white everything that I want to fill. Now just add this guy onto the folder, and as you can see, it works only for those meshes. So let's go back in here. So right now it's too thick. I want to do this a bit thinner, and I don't need it over here. So let's add a filter, blur filter, and levels. So if you drop blur before levels, the levels will be much easier to control. So let's make the proper width somewhat like this. Guess it's fine, or even thinner. You can crank up the white one to make it more contrast. Yep, like so. And let's add a paint layer, and let's manually overpaint with black those areas that are not needed, like here, because obviously this part of the gun is polished. Right there. It's fine to have it here. Somehow it ends there. That's okay. The main thing to have this thing on the exterior of the frame. Right there. And on the mag, same thing on the mag. I don't need it right there. Like so. Right there. Okay, now this seam looks pretty nice. So now let's turn off the diffuse, turn on the height, and give it a slight groove. Like so. I think we can go even thinner, give it a bit more depth to the groove. And let's go to the levels and make it thinner. Like so. Yeah, there's an issue right there. Let's try and fix this with the okay, so turn off the levels. Okay, that's because of the levels, so let's not make that thin. And let's make it a bit slighter. Not 4, but 2. Yeah, this is much better. Okay. So basically that's it. That was the desired effect. Let's drop it into decals. And now finally we have all the markings. And yeah, we're good. So now what I want to do is just export the normal map, existing normal map. Make sure we have an OpenGL normal map. Export it. Let's go into Photoshop and replace the one we did before. It is in Maps, Normal. Control A, Control C, Control V. Let's see the difference. Okay, we have this line there. Let's delete the previous one. Okay, so now let's replace the normal map. PNG XD normals, save it, replace it, yes. Okay. Now let's go back into Substance, disable this whole folder and reload your normal maps. Go into Texture Settings and drop your new normals here. And here we go. So now it is like baked in normal map. And the final stage that is left before texturing is baking the rest of the maps. So let's go into Bake Mesh Maps. You can see here are selected those maps that can be baked based on our normal map. So disable normal, ID, and ambient occlusion. Everything else can be checked. make sure it's 4K, and for curvature I use 0.02 value. It's like the best, I think. And just go and bake maps. So I'll give it some time. When it's done, these empty spaces will be filled with textures, and we are ready to go into texturing process and doing materials.